When you have to look at chess, when you have to define who is the greatest of all time, Magnus Carlsen is the epitome of it. But now in a podcast that he's done, the Take podcast, a very popular chess podcast that is there, Magnus Carlsen is best known for being one of the best classical players that he's had. As I mentioned, classical, rapid, blitz is like test, ODI and T20I when you look at the cricketing analogy in it. But Magnus Carlsen has explicitly stated classical chess, which means test match cricket in that way, is actually the worst parameter when you have to look at judging who's the best player on the planet. Because as far as his take on classical chess is concerned, why he said that it is absolutely the worst. If you want the kind of chess in which you need the most well-rounded game, classical chess is probably the worst way. Because it's sort of too forgiving. What is that forgiving aspect? He states, it's too easy to mask the deficiencies in your game. We saw in the Ding legend versus Gukesh encounter in the World Chess Championships. There were blunders galore. Ding made one blunder too much and Gukesh capitalized. A far better player would have both destroyed Gukesh and Magnus and Ding legend in that particular instance. But the standard of play was criticized in the World Chess Championships. And now European commentators and European players are raising a lot of issues about it. It may be because for the first time in the history of chess, 2 centuries, there is not a single European and American influence that happened in Singapore. So, Carlsen goes on to say, it's hard to say exactly what measures the best player overall. If you are able to handle both faster chess and freestyle, you have covered a lot of bases. Consider 3 aspects. Rapid, blitz and classical. 3 formats. If you are an all format player, 2800 plus ELO in all the 3 formats of chess, then you are considered as one of the greatest. Only Magnus Carlsen is at this stage in that 2800 category. Which is why whatever is the criticism that is coming when it comes to classical chess is kind of the main reason why Carlsen decided he won't be part of the World Chess Championship cycle. He anyway reiterated, I am done with this circus. I am not going to be part of it anymore. But the initial success in his career came from classical chess, which is why the current take on him is very, very complicated when you say it. He goes on to say that faster chess, rapid and blitz, it is a sport. He calls rapid and blitz chess as a pure sport. It's sort of a pure sport kind of a thing, but when you get to longer forms of freestyle, it becomes like more science and art. Now, when you look at classical chess, you have to analyze the openings, what are the various kind of openings, middle game theories, end game theories. So it's more of a science, and how you weave your pieces around that particular opening or that mid game or the end game, that is an art. So it's science and art in this particular way when you look at it. Because it was Magnus Carlsen himself who had criticized the Ding legend versus Gukesh encounters. He had stated during the World Chess Championship, does not look like a game between 2 World Championship contenders. Looks like maybe the 2nd or the 3rd round of an open tournament. You play somebody who's like decent with openings, but then you just win with class. Now I understand where Carlsen comes from. His style of play and with the contenders that he played with maybe about 8-9 years ago, it was truly remarkable. Fabiano Caruana and Magnus Carlsen, for example, in all these years, probably the most intense World Chess Championship. His games with Karyakin was also intense. With Vishy Anand, yes, he had experienced a loss in 2015, but then he bounced back. And so, do you agree with Carlsen's assessment that yes, classical chess is the wrong format to ensure that you're the greatest of all time? Do you think that the criticism that he's had on the World Chess Championships is valid, knowing fully well that Magnus is the greatest in the business at this point? Even Gukesh has acknowledged it. Yes, he may be the world champion, but the best player is Magnus Carlsen. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this video. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis.